Joining me now is the widow of Medgar Evers and a civil rights leader in her own right, Myrlie Evers Williams. It's an honor to have you here tonight.
Thank you.
You know, 50 years later, we hear all about the celebration to the March on Washington. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people don't understand the impetus to that march was what happened 50 years ago to your husband, the assassination of Medgar Evers. Really fueled the movement at that time. And even Dr. King in the march in Detroit, about a week or so after the assassination of your husband, paid tribute to him. I want you to watch this.
Thanks.
Before the victory for brotherhood is won, some will have to get scarred up a bit. Before the victory is won, some more will be thrown into jail. Before the victory is won, some, like Medgar Evers, may have to face physical death. I have a dream this afternoon that there will be a day that we will no longer face the atrocities that Emmett Till had to face or Medgar Evers had to face, but that all men can live with dignity.
People today don't seem to understand the fear and the death and what people went through 50 years ago and what you had to witness with your husband killed right there in the driveway of your home. But it spurned a movement that no one could have imagined. And 50 years later, how do you see the progress? How do you assess how far we've come?
I'm not sure if I can put numbers there on that assessment. Certainly we have moved forward in this country. But if we stop for a moment and look at where we are and look at some of the racist things that are still happening in America, for instance, when President Obama was re-elected, there was rioting at the University of Mississippi because of that. There are still deaths that take place. We look at those things that have happened to keep people from voting. So, you know, it's still there. I don't think these negatives are not as pronounced as they were in the 50s and 60s because we don't have people in the streets marching today. So we don't have that attention brought to it. But that's serious. It's serious in the sense that many of us feel that there's nothing left to do, that everything has been done, that they're making progress and they're doing it on their own without recognizing people like you. And others have given so much and planted a path that is so much easier for us toward justice.
When you look at the present Supreme Court is looking at voter rights, something that your husband gave his life for and you spent your life for, and on that issue, affirmative action, we are really, as you said, not seeing the action, but it's not like there is not the pushback.
That's right.
That could, in many ways, undermine a lot of what Medgar Evers and Dr. King stood for.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and that is the dangerous part of where we are in this country now. That progress was made by so many people now enjoy it without realizing the price that was paid, because possibly they were too young, not even born then. There has been no concerted effort, and I'm saying this, I hope I'm wrong, no concerted effort to really educate people as to the past in this history, what took place, the people who played an important role, not just people whose names we know, but in the local communities, right, what they gave, what they did. And here we are making an assumption that everything's okay, things are better. I hear too many young people say, that was then. We don't have to be concerned about that now. I beg to disagree, and I beg to say that Jim Crow is alive, and it's dressed in a Brooks Brothers suit, my friend, instead of a white robe.
You told me you met Medgar Evers the first day on campus in college, first hour. And he told you not long after that that you were going to be the mother of his children. Did you ever, once you were married and started bearing children, did you ever dream you'd have to live under that kind of fear? What gave you the strength to live under that climate of constant threat and constant, any day could be his or your last day?
That's true. Simple. Love. I loved and respected Medgar tremendously, and even though I was very young, I was 18 when I married him, he knew who he was. He was a veteran of World War II. He had seen many things happen in his area where he lived in Decatur, Mississippi, and had made a determination that he would do whatever he could to bring America around to a point of keeping its promises, because he had fought for the country above and then had to come home and be a second-class citizen. What happened was his determination to do whatever he could, register people, get them to vote, challenge the systems of education, and so many other things that needed attention. I came along with the job. It was just as plain and simple as that. And I hate to say it, but I must. I wasn't always there with him. I challenged that, because we knew, being born and living in Mississippi, that you didn't challenge that system without some kind of retaliation. And I knew that was coming.
So you knew it was coming. How did